the one thing I wanted to ask you about is on the support of the 18-cent tax increase proposed by DeWine,
Right.
and just your thoughts on it and the financial importance of it, the financial implications of it.
More and more municipalities are having to really stretch their dollars to the brink in terms of maintaining our infrastructure, in particular streets and bridges and roads and whatnot. I mean, we have gotten support through various grants, but those are typically bigger projects, as you may be aware, like East State Street, the East State Street improvements. There was substantial monies that came from ODOT to do what we were able to do on East State Street, which included a sidewalk on the south side that hadn't been done before. But, your typical maintenance of the city streets, again, that becomes difficult. I think we've done a great job in the past 3 years under my administration of being able to really stretch our dollars further because we moved changed percentages of money that would typically go into the general fund and moved 8% to go into streets for street repairs. But for something like this to be approved, from what we're being told, it would certainly enhance what we're able to do with street maintenance, bridge repairs in the city of Athens. So we would be able to get a lot more done if this goes through.
By how much would the 18-cent increase help the city's ability to fix roads compared to the 10.7?
What I've been told is that we would be getting close to 500,000, where right now we're getting, I believe it's around 300,000. So that's a big enhancement that we would be seeing, to increase revenue coming in for our street repairs.
Mm-hmm. And of course, a concern for a lot of residents would be having to pay more for gas.
Sure.
What would you tell residents that are concerned about the rising cost of gas, and it may be a bit difficult for them to get around Athens and to get around the county for work and other things?
Right. Well, I think something that came up at City Council this evening was, ride sharing or carpooling or using Athens Public Transit, which is a great transit system, for getting around. There's certainly a savings to be had there. But, as I look at it, if we don't have good usable roads and streets in the city of Athens for someone to get to work, in the long run, it might be more detrimental to the vehicle they're driving in terms of repairs and whatnot, in comparison to having good, smooth city streets and roads to be able to get from point A to point B to get to work and back.
Mm-hmm. Also, would the increase in money affect the other projects that have been, more importantly, like the underpass project? Would the increase in the gas tax help move that project along? Because one of those problems has been the financial side of a project like that.
Right. Yeah. The problem with that project isn't so much funding. What the problem has been with that project is the timeline that we had in our bid to get the project done. And so we've come up with a great fix for that, giving much more time to a contractor who thinks, yeah, I can get this job done in that amount of time, and so we're hopeful that will help. But, you raise an interesting question, that for things like the repaving of that street, once the Richland pedestrian passageway is completed, we're gonna have to, once the passageway is put in place, then we're gonna have to repave over the top, and therefore we could put more money towards that portion of the project to kind of give some relief to the overall cost. But at this point, we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with with House Bill 62. Whether it does go to the 10.7% increase versus the 18%, which is the one that Governor DeWine has asked for.
Yeah. So if I'm correct, they're gonna vote on that 18-cent increase on Monday.
Well, the way the supplemental House bill is reading is that it has gone from 18 cents down to 10.7. So it's what the House has looked at, and that's what you heard tonight, was really asking for the, our lawmakers to basically stick with what the governor has asked for as opposed to dropping it down, because there is a chance that the Senate can now look at this and go, I don't even like the 10.7. It should go down to 6, or it should not be passed at all. So it's not like things are clicking along at 18% or 18 cents. We're seeing changes along the way. Again, what was initially introduced was 18 cents. It has since gone down, and we're asking to toe the line and stick with the 18 cents.
And the reason why it was so important to have this resolution approved now was because this process is going along very fast.
It is going along fast, correct.
Is there like a clear date on when a decision is going to be made, or is it just so tentative?
No, I was led to believe last week by our representative for the 94th District, Jay Edwards, that it was going to be, they were going to be discussing it this week at some point. So there is a sense of urgency.